The corporate purge is in full swing. What do I mean? I mean nobody's safe. Literally everybody is getting pink slips. And when I started off the year, I've been like, doctors and nurses, they might be saved because doctors and nurses very prestigious, healthcare is expanding and everything else. No, we're seeing now that doctors, nurses, healthcare workers, everything is being let go because hospitals are not profiting and they're still a corporation. And so when a corporation doesn't make enough money, what do? They literally just take an axe and just axe people, because it doesn't matter if you have 6 months worth of client bookings or anything else. No, here's your pink slip, get out, because we need to make a profit. And one of the easiest ways to do that is letting people go. And I'm gonna have somebody else talk about it. And we're gonna watch that video coming up here and kind of talk about what he sees in the healthcare field and everything else. But yeah, it is brutal. 2025, 2026, we need to get the budget straightened out. And yeah, let's watch this video about what he's talking about.
Who would have thought doctors would lose their jobs? But doctors are being laid off as well as nurses. And I've been doing the research, and this is the conclusion that I've come to. The Medicare fees that were being charged to Medicare by hospitals and or clinics were so inflated and so high and had so much profit built in that now that they've been reduced and now they're at the levels where they're supposed to be, the people who wrote the budgets didn't account for this. Therefore, it's going to look like they're losing money and they're not profitable. So like every other corporation out there, when you're chasing a number, if you're publicly traded, the easiest way to get there is to cut staff. And you'll hear these doctors say, I had lines, there was 6 months worth of appointments set up. It doesn't matter. If the hospital doesn't see the profit, the people that get cut first are those that work on salary. So they're going to have to take some time to adjust back down to where they were actually supposed to be, what they're supposed to be billing Medicare instead of the inflated numbers that were being allowed. And that is exactly why we see so many doctors and nurses being laid off, because they didn't account for losing as much profit as they did when they flipped the switch and dropped Medicare cost down to where it's supposed to be.
So, and when I'm looking at it, this is absolutely correct. We're looking at Medicaid cuts, rural hospitals and families under threat. So we're looking at it, I have it right here on the chart. Medicare, 500 billion in cuts, 2026 to 2034. Eliminated 45 billion in 2026. So we're also seeing Medicaid, 1 trillion in cuts over a decade. Work requirements, reduced provider funding, eligibility, red tape, millions losing coverage. And when I'm looking at it, I have the hospital revenue right here. So this is how in 2023 a hospital clientele came from. So private insurance, 37%. Medicare was 25% of the clients. Medicaid, 19% out of pocket for 3%. So we're seeing that all these people and all these hospitals are going to be in a pickle with all these layoffs, with all these crazy numbers, because everything went up. Everything is just absolutely insane. And now we're going to see the downward spiral of even more funding, because let's think about this. When we are in a downwards of firing, what does that mean? That means that every $100,000 salary, $40,000 in taxes just goes away. And all of a sudden now they're going to be draining on the system. So that will cost the government more. And I got some numbers right here, so we're going to go over that. So when you're a tech worker or a healthcare worker, it doesn't really matter. I have the numbers right here. If you have a $100,000 salary, let me know what you think, how much actually goes away in taxes. And if you haven't, please like and subscribe. I make videos like this all the time. So let's look at it. In a $100,000 tech salary, it is literally federal income tax $13,000 after standard deduction. Social Security and Medicare, around $7,700. If you live in a state with income tax, $5,000 to $7,000. Health insurance premium, 2 to 4,000 your share. 401k contribution, 4K. Net take-home pay, no state tax is 66,000. Net take-home is high state taxes, it's about 60. So we're looking at all kinds of numbers here. And now let's look at how many months you actually have to work for all that. Because whenever I make videos and whenever I make content, I always say you're actually working a lot longer for yourself, for the government than you think you are. So you're working 1.6 months just for federal income tax. You're working almost almost a month for Social Security and Medicare. So you're working almost a month for state income taxes. You're working 1.2 months for for 401k contribution. And now we're looking at it and saying if you're in the high income tax states, your take home, you're actually only working 7.2 months for yourself. And if you're in a high non-state tax, you're working 7.8 months. So you're seeing is absolutely crazy. 7 months you're basically working for yourself, and the rest is all going away towards taxes. And now you see that you're making about 5,000 and something dollars, and now let's add on rent. Let's add on internet. Let's add on car insurance. Let's add on eating out. And all of a sudden you're seeing that the 5,000 something dollars isn't worth anything, because car payments now $800-900 if you want a nice one. And when I drive down the road in Las Vegas, I see really nice cars. I don't see when I used to come to the United States in in the early 2000s, there were beaters. There were old trucks that were just running around. And now I don't know when we made the switch, but all of a sudden we got comfortable with car payments, and everybody's drives nice cars now, and everybody's like, oh yeah, $800-900 car payment. Maybe it's because of TikTok that these car dealers have been saying, oh, it's okay to have $1,000 a month car payment. So then you're starting to add that on, and all of a sudden for just existing, you have nothing left. You're just basically working for taxes and then for you to drive a nice car, because after that, there's just nothing left. But this is why I'm telling you guys, you gotta get a side gig. You gotta get that income up. You gotta use the tax code to your advantage, how you can then say, oh, holy moly, all of a sudden I'm making more money. All of a sudden I can write stuff off that I obviously use for my business, right? And when you're gonna finance a car, it will say, oh, maybe I'm gonna finance it with my company, or maybe I do miles deduction or something like it. But you gotta start looking into all of your options, because as you're seeing, there's not a lot left. There's not a lot of meat on the bone left. After the state takes their money, the feds take their money, you pay health insurance, you pay for groceries, you pay for electricity, you pay for all these kind of other necessities in life. I would call it air conditioning, call it water, plumbing, sewer, insurance, and all of a sudden there's not a lot left. So you got to be your best advocate and see, can I do a side gig? When I'm talking about side gigs, I'm like mobile notary. Can I do content? Can I be a tutor? Can I do all kinds of stuff? And this is what the world has come to inside the United States. $100,000 salary used to be aspired. This is what people were trying to retire with. That's what everybody kind of shot at. And the $100,000 used to be like, this is where I want to be. And the $100,000 salary, you're like, ooh. I remember growing up, people were talking about, ooh, becoming a millionaire, becoming all this stuff. Starting to notice now that $100,000 salary is almost a requirement just to skate by. And as you're seeing with $5,500 paid out from $100,000, you're like, what am I gonna do with all that money that's left? Nothing, because you don't have anything left. Because when you're starting to see, oh, car payment, car insurance, gas, oh, my tires of my car got deflated, or they need to exchange, oh, $1,200. All of a sudden, that's like, oh, I'm a homeowner now, so the air conditioner goes out, $15,000, gone. And then all of a sudden, you're like, wow, that is just a year worth of working and saving that just went out the door. And then you're like, oh, I need an oil change, that's another few $100s. And then when you're starting to look at it, it's like, oh, the fridge broke too. All of a sudden, you are not as liquid and not as financially free as you think. And this is what I'm keep telling you guys. You got to start learning the numbers. You got to start thinking about how do I improve my living situation with the areas that I can, and with the tools that I have and the skills I have, because everybody has skills, you just got to apply it. The only people that can't do it is lazy. If you're lazy and you don't want to do it, then it's not going to happen. And I don't think that people in their 50s and 60s that said, oh, this is how I've done it, is going to work in 2025. I think 2025, you need to put your head down, you need to go hustle, and you need to go early on in life, you need to set yourself up for success. So if you can get out of debt in your early 20s, not go to these fancy colleges and rack up $100,000, $200,000 in student loans, and you can then set yourself up for retirement, for super success down the road, if you can get debt free in your 20s and early 30s. That's the goal for when I see people really succeeding in life, really going places. I see that, hey, they don't have that much debt. They don't do crazy games with it. They set themselves up. They lived at home. They've did the right things. When I'm talking about the right things, I mean about doing going to college where it's cheaper, and not just, oh, I'm not going to worry about the cost. I'm not going to finance MacBooks on student loans. And there's been people that done that, and then their student loan grows, and then they're hoping for the government again to forgive these loans. And we know how that's going to go. 1 or 2% chances of them actually saying, you know what, we're going to forgive these loans. And yeah, Medicare, Medicaid, as we're seeing, it is absolutely brutal with the deficit. When you're trying to make cuts and you're a politician sitting in office, you're going to shoot yourself in the right or the left foot. Because when you're thinking about it, is they literally have 3 options. Every politician has 3 options to kind of get the budget balanced. Because if you're not going to balance the budget, it's just going to be more interest, and more interest. And every time from people paying taxes, there's going to be more going towards interest. And if you're going to default on the national debt, then your whole country's going to go under, right? And we saw it with Greece, and we saw it with other countries where then hyperinflation, they're just trying to print themselves out of it or something else. So you have 3 options, right? You either kick the can down the curb and say, I'm going to be just another few years, hopefully I can ride it out. And a lot of people do that. Let's not change anything. The second option is, let's cut spending. Let's cut these programs. Let's cut all that. And that's going to piss off all these people that do use these programs, but they're like, okay, we're going to cut these programs. The third option is, let's increase taxes. And nobody that's paying taxes wants to ever pay more taxes. So yeah, these are the 3 options. Or you try to do something with tariffs and something else that's kind of unique, and you're like, see if we can try that out. But these are the options that are on the table. And when you're looking at it like, what do I want to do and where do I want to go? The easiest place to kind of build wealth and to do it is work a 9 to 5 and then get another gig to kind of fund your hobbies, fund your travels, do something. Because there's influencers that get paid to go to all kinds of resorts. And so what you can do, oh, I like traveling. Maybe I should start a travel vlog, and maybe I'll get invited. Then I can write off the whole trip because I'm making money from it. So there's all these kind of niches that you can enter into and start contributing and start making money from. But it's going to require action. It's going to require you to put themselves out there, and not with just some username BillyBob453, right? No, it's going to be you as a person that they can reach. You're going to make videos that people say, this place sucks, you suck, you're an idiot. But this is the price of getting ahead. If you don't have any haters, you're doing something wrong. So yeah, this is how it's going to go in 2025. And I've been keep telling people, listen to some audiobooks. It's $20, and instead of listening to what Taylor Swift does, what else is going on, listen to some real educating books. Listen to some real educating pieces of knowledge from people that want to have the best interest in mind. It's the cheapest way of learning rather than free YouTube videos. But yeah, this is how it goes. And let me know what you guys think about all this. But yeah, we're not there yet with the purge of all these. We're not at the end of the purge yet, where all these places are gonna stop firing people. We're still in the midst of it. And we're gonna see how 2026 is gonna turn out. We're gonna see how everything else is gonna end up being. But yeah, it's happening, and it is not pretty. Yeah, so let me know what industry you're in. What do you think about this? Because I'm just like, man, it is ugly. Doctors, lawyers, everything is shaped by AI. And I know that there's now talks on Reddit and on Twitter about AI bubbles and everything else. Talking about it, it's like the website where everything is labeled AI is almost like the 2000 where it was the .com boom. But I'm telling you, once there's going to be an AI that's so good, and we're seeing improvements with AI agents, everything, that I can't wait to see who's going to really make an impact, because there's been an article coming out that it hasn't really made money, but it's saved a lot of time and costs. So yeah, it's an interesting world we're living in, and I'm just waiting for this one AI tool to pass the bar, to pass a test, and they're going to say, you know what, we're going to allow you to start doing practice or something else, or we're going to allow this AI tool to be a registered real estate agent or something, and it's going to reshape the world as we see it. Let me know what you guys think. And for the people that always ask me, where are you? This is where I'm at today, and this is one of the nicer parts when it's a little hotter out. I think it's going to be like 100 and something today. I walk here because there's a lot of green. It's kind of cooler. So yeah, this was it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, hit that bell notification, and yeah, I see you guys in the next one.